What is the secret to success? Is there a secret recipe? A magic alchemy? Yes. Creativity that connects, because everything starts from a good idea, and good ideas deliver greater results. Science and sharing. Our doctors shared their expertise in thousands of training sessions. Global growth. Through hard work and effort, resulting in stronger launch successes in our network of 60 competitive countries. Dare. We dare when others don't. Let's celebrate Nanomania, Nanosoft, our head-turning innovation for a new injection experience. We grow, our spirits grow, and we grow greater from within. We are a game changer, breaking codes, pushing boundaries together. We glow, inspiring a new world of elegance and glamour, a new mindset of aesthetic medicine. Our enthusiasm is passion. We embrace all beauty and create self-confidence. Together, we are beautiful. This is our chemistry, our secret alchemy. Our success is you.
Situation as such. So I'm Rebecca of FILLMED. Hopefully you all know my face by now. And I'm really excited about this morning because we're going to be talking MHA range. In my opinion, FILLMED's best kept secret, and now is the time to get you guys and talk to you about these amazing products, our MHA 10 and MHA teen range. So today, joining me, I've got the beautiful Debbie Rainbow. There she is in your video. Hopefully you can see her in your video settings as well, guys. Debs is our educational ambassador and clinical trainer, and she's a nurse of over 30 years with 11 years in aesthetics, injectables, etc. So there's our little Deb. And we've also got the beautiful Andrew Hansford. Morning, Andrew, who's just moved house. So one of the most stressful things you can possibly do in a lifetime. But he's very together today, aren't you, Andrew? Ready for today's session? But Andrew is our international educator and ambassador as well, and he is Mr. Skin. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to pass over to you. Just make sure you're unmuted, Andrew. Definitely don't want to miss what you've got to say, that's for sure.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, I'm really happy to be working with Deborah today. She's an absolute dream, and I haven't seen her for like ever. It's not right.
I know.
Like literally months and months. So we need, hopefully we'll come out of this situation, should I say, we're in soon, and we can all get together.
Definitely.
Yeah, I can't wait. So yes, I'm excited too, because MHA 18 and MHA 10 are phenomenal products, and it's about time we really got some influence on them. So with FILLMED itself, their mission is positive pro-aging. So positive is serenely, joyful, confidence. Pro is together, accompanied, in action and prevention. And aging is evolution, development, maturity and longevity.
And I think what we need to recognise here, a lot of patients who are coming through my door in particular don't necessarily want the other more invasive treatments like dermal fillers or Botox. They're more looking towards trying to improve and enhance what is already there. The ladies who are coming through the door and what we're trying to do is actually change their perception away from anti-aging to embracing it. And if we go forward to the I don't think I'm a co-host where I can change the slides, but can we go on to the next slide, Andrew? Are you able to do that? Oh, there we go. And we have this absolutely beautiful woman here who just paint it perfectly in this sentence. You have to embrace getting older. Again, in my opinion, aging is a privilege. Yes, you do want to maybe turn the clock back a little bit and enhance what you have. But I think if we start introducing decent skincare, hydration to the skin, what we're all about today and what we're going to talk about today, then I think the ability to grow old with a positive mindset, which is good for mental well-being, is the perfect way to go.
Oh, I totally agree. And I think the thing that's really cool too is that, you know, in our industry, we hear this a lot. Like, people will say Meryl Streep looks phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
She looks really young for her age. She looks really sexy. She looks incredible. They don't say that about the Kardashians.
No.
They don't say they look young for their age. They look, I'm not going to use the words, but people are gravitating towards the Meryl Streeps and the people who've grown old gracefully and look stunning. And that really is where FILLMEDs sits.
Definitely. And if we look back on what people perceive as beauty, this is timeless. This aging is timeless. If we look at the ancient perceptions of beauty, what we're seeing now more so with maybe the younger generations, certainly a small minority of the older generations, is more a trend of trying to change their original characteristics of the face. Whereas if we take it back and we strip it back, and the French have got it to perfection, is basically enhancing what we already have, making the best of what we've got.
Definitely. Next slide.
Okay, so again, this is what we're all about, and from a FILLMEDs point of view, and I think we're managing to share that insight and that philosophy. It's all about the pro-aging. You know, aging itself shows longevity, brings about wisdom. You know, we all say in hindsight, I wish we'd have known in hindsight we wouldn't have made those mistakes. However, with that wisdom, I think it just brings a certain beauty, a certain, I don't know, a more positive look. It's about well aging, slow aging, pro aging, but we can fight the signs of aging by being positive on ourselves. And we all know that by trying to be as positive as possible, introducing good skincare, making ourselves aware of diet and nutrition, all those things will contribute to this positive pro-aging, feeling good, looking good. If your mindset and your mind and your well-being is coming from a positive focus, then it does show in the face. How many people have said, you know, if there's been a major trauma in life, wow, haven't they aged? And it's true, because the first signs, it will break collagen down, breaks collagen, which then obviously we lose the volume in the face, then it's a knock-on effect, we don't take care of ourselves, and all these things, the first place it shows is the face. So if we get back to basics, trying to replace and to boost what we have, then hopefully that aging process will certainly slow down.
So we're looking at obviously the hyaluronic acid aspect today. The wonderful thing about FILLMED is because positive pro-aging is their mantra, and they've been around for an awfully long time, working on cellular communication and the aging process in relationship to that they have an awful lot of clinical evidence based on all the ingredients that sit inside the hero product, NCTF. The one product that is always slightly difficult and can be quite controversial is hyaluronic acid, because it usually comes from various sources that aren't in this country, and you need to make sure you get the right weight, the right consistency, and also, as I stated, where it comes from. So they actually bought their own hyaluronic acid factory, like you do. In Europe, there's only one of 7 in the world who produce their own HA. So from that perspective, it makes us really happy, because hyaluronic acid can have a negative as well as a positive if it's put in the wrong place with the wrong molecular weight. And that's been proven over the years with various products, etc. So we know that not only do they create their own HA, they have the ability at the plant and the factory to work with it and figure out the best weights that sit in, whether it be the filler, whether it be the skin perfusion, or whether it be the injectables like the NCTFs and the MHAs. So we all know that hyaluronic acid is an amazing thing. It sits in the extracellular matrix. In fact, it's most of the extracellular matrix, and it does start to degrade as we get older. Of course, we know that. It can bind 1,000 times its weight in water, and its benefits are absolutely cell growth, matrix organization, moisturizing effects, smoothing wrinkles, firming effect, and wound repair and wound healing. So it's kind of the caveat to everything. It's the thing that keeps everything happy. And what we want is to maintain or extend the life of our own HA, because we do know that HA is not a natural formulation. It has to be made. But in the right formulation and the right molecular weight, it can kickstart our own. And that's what's important. So we now know that the molecular weight from a high to low all do very different things. Next slide, please. So we have MHA 10, which is the first one, and it's free hyaluronic acid, of course, and it's 10 milligrams. It's viscoelastic solution, which aims at restoring the loss of hyaluronic acid. It is as close to our natural hyaluronic acid Dalton weight as humanly possible, which means it has a complete bioaffinity with us. Extreme low molecular weight can cause vascular conditions. Large molecular weight can cause edema. So you don't want that. We want to maintain our own, and the closer it is to our own, the easier and the better it is for us to produce more or maintain as much as possible. It's used mainly in the face, neck, décolleté, and the periorbital area. And it's like, like all the products that come from FILLMED, they are double filtration. So it's not done by heat, which unfortunately a lot of companies are, and heat will kill most things, obviously. So this is a much more expensive way to do it, but it means that the integrity of the product is maintained. So as it said, it's filtrated twice. Indications are deep hydration, radiance, wrinkles, and elasticity. And it comes in a gorgeous silver box like this of 3 ml. In that box are the withdrawal needles or aspiration needles, injection needles, 2, 32 gauge and 30 gauge. One of them will be a mesotherapy needle, which is the 4 ml injection length. And the other great thing too is that it has a unique proof of authenticity. So you almost like the track and trace. I hate saying that right now, but you can do this on the back of the box. Take a picture of this QR code, and it will trace the origin of that product. The injection technique is similar to a mesotherapy protocol, apart from this is slightly deeper. Whereas mesotherapy, we're targeting epidermal junction and above most of the time. With HA, we want to go slightly deeper, so just below the epidermal junction, and then the MHA 18, which we'll come into later, will be slightly deeper. So it's done with multipuncture, so you have options here. You can do it with a needle, you can do it with a meso gun, or you can do it with the new amazing NanoSoft needles. You can also do it if you wish. You can use MHA 10 as an amazing glide for your medical needling protocols. So because the molecular weight is quite small, it will allow a certain amount of penetration. Obviously not like you would if you had it with a needle, and it's not as targeted if you don't use a needle, but you can combine if you used a medical needling protocol, and then you can target afterwards with maybe a NanoSoft in areas where it needs more hydration. So we have the clinically proven protocol of 3 sessions, 3 weeks apart. So the clinical study we did on 27 women and 1 man, random, between 56 and, I'm not quite sure what that means, maybe it's 60. Protocol of 3 sections again, and phototype 1 to 5. Most prototype was 3. And the instrumental study came from France, of course, and all the studies are independent as well, which makes it better. Clinical scoring, injection, safety, tolerance, GA scale, which is a global aesthetic improvement scale, injection safety and tolerance, and instrumental measures, clinical scoring, subject self-assessment, and safety and tolerance. And the results are like this, which is amazing. So we've got minus 10% in crow's feet and deeper wrinkles, a 36% increase in hydration, 27 in elasticity, 26 in elasticity, and the clinical scoring, which is minus 13 crow's feet, minus 11 cheek folds and wrinkles, and the radiance 30, investigator GIAS, a global aesthetic improvement, is plus 83% and plus 72% in the subject. So that's pretty impressive. The p-value at the top in red is actually a population statistic. So the lower the p-value, the stronger the positive evidence. So we've got 0.003, so that's extremely low. So the reductions of wrinkle between the difference between using saline and MHA 10 is saline will give an instant hydration, which will last not very long at all. But you've got 22.50% as opposed to MHA 10, which is nearly 68. 25% in increased radiance, 50% with MHA 10, with increased hydration, 32, and with MHA 10, 46. Firmness, 25, as opposed to 64 with MHA 10, and increased elasticity, which is pretty important, 25% with saline, as opposed to 53% with MHA 10. So they're really pretty incredible results. So the safety and tolerance was also studied. So in 6 subjects experienced a total of 9 adverse events, and most of these would have been what you would sometimes see. So erythema, some redness, a little bit of swelling, which could be slightly edemic, but still not a problem. Because of the fact that HA does bind to water and can, as I said, 1,000 times its natural weight, on certain cases it can happen, but we all know that it's not long term because it will go down. Hello. There we go. Do you want to take this one, Debs? Because I've been talking too much.
That's okay. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So obviously a lot of the patients who are coming through our door, more so now as well, because we're covering part of the face, they're drawing attention to the eyes and the neck area. And again, there's a growing demand amongst our patients. And with the Arcane study that I always go on about, because it's not just a very small study, it's 8,600 odd people were involved in this study, which is a massive, massive number to be working with. In addition to that, it was an independent study. And throughout all of the FILLMED portfolio, this has been associated. So 27% of the ladies involved complained about the firmness and the elasticity in the neck. Next slide, please. I haven't actually got it on my screen, so do. Okay, so again, like we've already discussed, this is can be a difficult area to treat. However, FILLMED have come up with a combination treatment to address this. So generally, if we stretch our neck, we have the telltale little tech lines. We've got established wrinkles, and then we have loss of firmness and pigmentation. Now, again, we've talked about some of the pigmentation can be associated where ladies in the past have wore perfume, the UV rays have come along and caused the pigmentation. There is a name to that, but I can never pronounce it. So these are the things that we have to think about when patients are walking through, and this will decide on which protocol we actually use for our treatment plan with them when we're deciding on the consultation. Next slide, please. Let's see if I can do it. Let's have a look. No, I can't get that through.
It's, the next slide, you should be able to see it.
I can't see it now.
Andrew, can you see it?
I can, yeah. So this is the neck rejuvenation slide. So it's skin quality, anatomy of platysma, and grade of sagging skin, and platysmal bands, and severity of local fat deposits. Love that picture on the left. So this is how they've popped it in this
Very
scale.
good.
So no relevance, mild prominence of platysmal band. So we got that on number 1. Number 2, moderate prominence, severe prominence, and very severe, which is number 4.
And I think with this one, sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. I disappeared into the Twiglet zone. And I think, you know, some of the registered clinicians out there, we would generally treat this with other forms of intervention, possibly the toxin treatments. But again, we can do that, no bother. We can get away and try and reduce these lines, but the integrity of the skin will still be an issue if we don't address it. So it's not a standalone treatment, thinking about we need to go back to basics and deal with the canvas first. Okay, so again, with the sagging skin here, we can see the gradings there. Again, age plays a process in this. We also think about the aging process with our bone and how it's reabsorbed within the body. But again, if we maintain our skin integrity throughout the aging process, we can certainly slow this down. Again, we would possibly have to come with other interventions in this, but today we're just going to address the signs of the aging and with the skin. But this is a fantastic example of where you can align it with the patients that walk through your door, and you know, we can use that. Do you want to do this, or shall I carry on?
Okay, so we've got the décolleté rejuvenation. I love doing this.
I know.
Really cool. So you've got skin laxity, you've got lines and wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, erythema, tactile roughness, atrophy, and telangiectasia. So what we're looking for is a Fabry-Bolton scale. So from this perspective, we've got no wrinkles. Well done. We've got 2, we've got shallow but visible lines, so they're starting to appear. Number 3, we've got moderately deep lines, and then 5 and 6, we can kind of tell that's sun damage, and they're deep weld lines. But this is also where we need to target pigmentation as well as the lack of hydration and wrinkles. So the décolleté anatomy is the frontal crossplane of the chest anatomy between the 2nd and 4th ribs, demonstrating from an interior or posterior dermis, most specifically followed by subcutaneous fat, periolis major, muscle fascia, and pectoral muscle, breast tissue, and rib. So complicated, isn't it? So it's that central portion there. And when you do the treatment, it's quite interesting because you tend to do it from the very top of the breastbone outwards, like in a fan, like the sun fanning out, and you're filling in all those variables in small papules that run through. But we are trying to target that slightly deeper area to maintain the not just the hydration, but the loss of wrinkles and the pigmentation. So you're going to cover all 3. This is mind-blowing. Rebecca sent this to us quite recently, and all of us had a like freaked right out. So this is one of their FILLMED partners in the UK. I believe this is 3 treatments. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But if you can see on the left, that is the papules that has been created. And you can see they've actually basically filled in or followed all the lines around the neck décolleté. And then I believe she just popped in between some product for the hydration level. But look at the difference afterwards. It's absolutely insane.
If I can butt in, Andrew, sorry, this is actually after 1 treatment, 1 week.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, 1 treatment. Okay, even more amazing. So that's 1 treatment straight after. I mean, all of us were just blown away by this, which is incredible.
I think also as well, what we need to also explain is we can do our part in clinic, but we do have to encourage the patients or your clients that they will need to use the skin perfusion products in order to maintain this at home. So this is a joint partnership on achieving these results as well. Would you agree, Andrew?
Oh, completely. Again, it goes back to the 360 approach again.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I know you'd agree because you're like me in this one, but it's mandatory SPF, mandatory. If they're not prepared to wear that, then don't treat them, because that's really a lot of the time the neck and décolleté and hands get like slaughtered because of it's the one area that's shown even in winter, and we still get damage in winter, which people still seem to not understand. So yes, absolutely. So the hydration products, which we'll touch on later, but also the SPF products to maintain the integrity superficially, as well as what we're doing internally.
Okay, so for the rejuvenation and the skin quality, we do have a variable on what we can offer our patients. For the superficial and to mid-dermis, obviously we have our NCTF, and it's 3 times weekly, twice a month. For the 1 to 2, we have our NCTF. You can have that every 3 to 4 weeks. And with the grade 3 to 4, we have our NCTF 3 to 5 times every 3 to 4 weeks. Now, for the mid to deep dermis, we can talk about our MHA 18 product, which is our skin booster, 18 milligrams per mil of free HA. Now, when we work alongside this, again, this can be injected with a needle. I generally use this with a cannula, but we can talk about that a bit later on. And then if we think about going into the deep dermis, and this is for our registered clinicians, we can even consider using fine lines, using the Trihal technology, which again is 20 milligrams per mil. So for rejuvenation, dependent on where you are, if you work with a clinician or where you are registered wise, there's so many protocols that you can follow that FILLMED have made available for you. Okay. There we go, Andrew. Here's your favourite guy.
Oh, I love this man. So this is Dr. Michael Torgman, who's the creator of FILLMED. He created NCTF way back in 1978. And like I said, he was obsessed with cellular aging. And fast forward all those years, it's what we now realize to be the truth behind it all. If we look at and understand the concept of cellular aging, there's so much more that we can achieve from it. So really proud of him, and his NCTF has not changed since its inception, which is pretty phenomenal. It has 59 active ingredients, of which there are amino acids, vitamins, coenzymes, minerals, nucleic acids, antioxidant, plus free HA. The complete ingredient list is available if you want to see that. It is also CE marked for injection purposes, and I bang on about this all the time, but it is so important. There are very few on the market that are CE marked. Even if it says on the back of a box for topical use only, that means to lay on top of the skin, not to inject with a needle or with a needling device, because you don't get the support or the backup of the company. Plus, you also don't get the confidence to know that every product and every ingredient that sits inside that has been tested thoroughly. So we know that it's got the ultimate when it comes to the results that come from it. But NCTF was created really for tone, wrinkles, radiance, pores, hydration, and homogeneity, all of which it does beautifully.
And if I can just come in there again, it's one of my bugbears, and I do have this conversation quite a lot, possibly during training and just on some of the forums. When we say CE mark for injection purposes, generally you will find there's about 4, I think maybe 5 now, and you will find that for the products that you have to work with, they should have their own sticker that you can peel off and put on your clinical notes. Now, what we have to remember, and I've just noticed a comment pop up in the chat box with where some areas are saying, or some companies are saying that you can use a non-CE marked for this procedure. You can't, because what we've got to think about, what Andrew was talking about before when we're talking about molecular size, when you are introducing a microchannel to the skin, you've got to be mindful that is not naturally there. So whatever you put on the surface of the skin has got to be designed to be able to go to the deeper tissue layers. If you create this man-made channel, which is obviously bigger than what is generally there as our pore size or the products that have the ability to penetrate through, if we are creating a bigger pore size and that particular product goes through, that bigger molecular size goes through, once that channel closes over, that product, that molecule is sat in those tissues. It can't go up or down. It cannot go anywhere. It's stuck. It's not designed to do that. So it's, if you go away with anything today, always go with the CE mark for injection, because if you have problems coming up, not necessarily in the next week, but further down the line, and there is an issue and they can bring it back to you, you have to make, for whatever reason, if anyone challenges you, why did you make that choice? Why did you use that product? If you use these products that are CE marked for injection, the job's done. You've got the backing of FILLMEDs, you've got the backing of everybody in your insurance company. Okay, so I do go on about this and I'm really passionate about this. There are other products on the market. There are cheaper products on the market. And I'm not saying they each have a place, but when you're talking about breaking the skin, creating a big microchannel, you need to use CE marked products for injection. I'm off my orange box now, sorry.
No, we're both on the same page on that one, aren't we? This is a phenomenal result because this is, I use this in training a lot now. And I always ask the question, what would you do with this client on the left? And unfortunately, a lot of the time, the first response is toxin. So for those of you who've done the training with me with skin perfusion and stuff, you know, there's a lot of, I talk a lot about a primary and secondary concern. And what the client's primary concern is usually not really it. So her primary concern was all these wrinkles, you know, I'm getting older, I look haggard, blah, blah, blah. So we're looking at that going, well, actually, that isn't the primary concern. The primary concern is because you've got insane dehydration. So Dr. Ricky Smith, who works with FILLMEDs, she's an amazing South African doctor, thought the same way. And she didn't do toxin on this lady. She did intradermal injection of NCTF with one injection using a nanosoft needle. So her skin was so dry and dehydrated, they are different, she put back the hydration, and look at the difference. There was no toxin in that lady's face, which means now she can go ahead and readdress the patient's primary concern, which was wrinkles. She's done a lot of that already. So having toxin on that now will be a lot easier. So that's a pretty impressive result, because it does show you that the difference between the skin visually and what the client is seeing. And 9 times out of 10, the client's always banging on about wrinkles and fine lines and all of the rest of it. Whereas we know that it can be treated in so many different ways than just jumping on the toxin and filler bandwagon, of which we love. But you got to get the skin sorted before you start doing that. So with NCTF, we've got some phenomenal results due to the age of the product. So we know that there's a lot going for it in that response, and all of those results are available to you. So we've got a minus 30% in lines and volume. We've got minus 59% in pore size. We've got minus 49% in complexion and minus 52% in homogeneity. And these are just a couple of the clinical trials that were undertaken. So the first one is in relationship to skin aging and skin quality. That's actually really interesting to read. It's got a lot in there regarding cellular aging, but also what the different ingredients that sit inside NCTF are proven to achieve, because obviously we know that there are certain things that are and certain things that aren't out there. So we've got the vitamin A's, the vitamin C's, etc. And then we've got the BioNutriNec protocol. So we have 2 that sit inside this. We have revitalization or prevention, which is targeted for the 25 years and 25-year age bracket. So no visible signs, but it could be dehydrated, absolutely. Or you could see that things are starting to happen. And you have an injection protocol there of every 1 centimeter to 1.5, and it surrounds the entire area. So you're just doing it, as you can see from that picture, covering the entire neck area. You can bring it down into the décolleté if you wish, but the neck is what we're talking about at this point. And the rejuvenation correction is where you've got established signs. So you can actually see the wrinkles are there, and it's loss of firmness and elastosis and pigmentation. So it's point to point alongside the wrinkles. So you're actually doing next door to each other and following the lines, each one of them individually, from start to end. So sometimes you can go up into the ear, a little bit like a pearl necklace. So the first one, so the revitalization or the skin health, the maintenance will be used with NCTF, and the rejuvenation and the correction will be used with MHA 10. The actual protocol itself is we use the bright peel, which is a beautiful combination of acids, which include the hero gluconolactone. And then we use NCTF with the NanoSoft. For those of you who've used them, I'm sure you're obsessed as I am, but it's made life so much easier for injection, number one, for pain, number two, and there's absolutely no need for any form of anesthesia. And post-op is B3 recovery and the HAB5 serum.
Again, we have our bright peel here. This is for the rejuvenation and the correction. And yes, I generally describe this as a wonderful pearl necklace. But again, I think peeling before everything, we're targeting all the different layers here. And again, gluconolactone is our polyhydroxy acid, which is fabulous. It's kinder and it's easier for patients to tolerate. But we can then obviously use our MHA 10, and the home care again is B3 recovery and the hydrate serum. What I would say is if we're going to be using the MHA 10, whether it be around the eye or around the neck or the décolleté, we have to be mindful that because it is a thicker viscosity, we need to counsel our patients or clients to say that, you know, the downtime could be a little bit longer than when we're using NCTF because it's so hydrating. So the papules could be there maybe for a couple of days as well. But yes, do you want to add anything to that, Andrew?
Just a quick one, because you know I'm obsessed with this too. Sally just said about, does using numbing cream prevent it from working so well? Yes. Numbing cream was was kind of, not so much with MHA, with hyaluronic, but at 100% with NCTF. The one thing we need in rejuvenation is blood, oxygen. What happens when you apply numbing cream? It's a vasoconstrictor. So yes, it will bring down the treatment results quite dramatically. And in recent years, the depth ratio for needling, as thank God, is not like the 1.5 drama that it used to be. It's like 0.5. For one of the main reasons being that using anesthesia or topical anesthetic kind of negated what you were trying to do. So I just wanted to pop that one out there.
Yeah, but we don't need the anesthesia
No.
because it's virtually pain-free. And to be honest, since my first meeting with you, Andrew, all those years ago, where I sat and you totally blew everything out the water that I'd done, and I did my own research with regards to it. I don't use anesthesia for microneedling. I don't use it for anything anymore. I don't even use it when I'm using a cannula to do lips. So I'm a bit, and I don't have an issue. But you are very, very right. And I did notice something there with the B3 recovery cream. This has been designed to be used in clinic after every procedure. So I will use this after every invasive treatment and apply it to the face after I've done microneedling or NanoSoft as well.
Definitely.
Can I just add in there, guys, as well, just as an additional
Next slide, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to add in here as well, where we've got this, the rejuvenation protocol with the MHA 10, I would also suggest in severe circumstances that you also do your grid of NCTF with this as well, because then, of course, you're adding the vitamins and minerals.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And the protocol's quite simple. It's 3 weeks apart. So again, peel, and we've got MHA 10 and NCTF there in combination. Then 3 weeks later, and then 3 weeks later, it's the same protocol of 3. And there's our amazing NanoSoft. As you can see, it's 3 microneedles, 0.6 mil in length, and it's equivalent to a 36 gauge, each one of them. So it causes a slight wound on implantation, as well as implanting the product exactly where it needs to go. So you get a slight wound healing response from it, as well as the implantation of product. So the combination of the two is mind-blowing. Plus, it's almost painless, especially neck and décolleté. They feel nothing. So the key points to MHA 10 are: it's pure hyaluronic acid, it's safety and efficacy clinically proven. Oh, that's a hard one. 10 milligrams of HA, 30 milligrams of pure HA per vial, 3 milligrams, I should say. Highest concentration obtained with filtration, totally preserved and pure. A molecular weight identical to the one of the extracellular matrix for a high bioaffinity with the dermis. That is so important. The kit is ready to use. It comes with everything in that lovely box, and to be used alone or in combination, absolutely. And the ratio, quality and price is really good. Do you want to start this one, Debs?
Yeah, if you would. Do you want me? Are you starting that or me? Sorry.
Oh, I'll do this one.
Go on.
I like this one. So MHA 18 is one up from MHA 10. So this one is slightly different in the fact it has 18 milligrams of high molecular weight. So it's a hydroscopic water reservoir and factor of hydric balance. But it also has 20 milligrams of glycerol. And glycerol is a natural humectant. So it aids in hydration, and it pulls water to the outer layers. And stops moisture loss. So in combination, they're really quite lovely. These are crazy results here, as you can see. So we're dealing now more so on the extreme hydration, elasticity, redensification, and the prevention of losing of smooth wrinkles, etc. And again, it's face, neck, décolleté, and hands.
Yeah.
And the protocol is, as I said, slightly deeper than you would do with NCTF, etc. So it's 1 month apart, injection to deeper papillars and redensification with a cannula. Debs can talk about what she does with that in a second. And again, combine. So, because we're looking at hyaluronic acid is phenomenal. Of course, it's phenomenal. And it's doing its job in regards to the deep hydration and the support of the extracellular matrix and all those incredible things. But we also may have, or most people will have, other concerns like certain forms of pigmentation. Then that's when we need to pop in with the NCTF too. So you can then pop in NCTF in between the areas, or just the areas that need a little bit more work. So for a complete treatment, all the skin layers, so we're looking at epidermis and dermis, allows redensifying cutaneous mattress on dehydrated skin. So that's the support structure which I mentioned in the extracellular matrix. The smoothing actions of dehydration, lines and breaks. And it's ideal for the first signs of aging. This is absolutely perfect. So if you've got clients who are starting on that pathway, God love them, why jump on straight into the filler world? You can absolutely do this with MHA 18. Neck and hands and décolleté, as in 3 sessions. So it's session 1, MHA 18 plus NCTF. Session 2 the same, and session 3 the same. So it's a shorter protocol for dehydrated and tired skin. And it's a deep hydration, like I say, which is the bit that's most important. And the epidermis and dermis get affected. It has a radiance and hydration and elasticity, and the skin quality and revitalization, absolutely. You're covering all bases there.
Yeah, and I think with that one as well, Andrew, more often than not, our patients or clients will come in, and what they don't realize that they've reached a certain stage in their skin quality over time, which has been contributed to with lifestyle, sun damage, life events, all these types of things. And a lot of people who come through my door want a bit of a quick fix. However, what we need to remember here is we're not going to get a quick fix. However, with these protocols, you're going to see a fantastic result within a short space of time, which that instills a bit more confidence in you as a practitioner.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, so I don't know what's coming next. Where's the, there we go. Have we got a video now, or oh no, here we go. So when we talk about our hands, which is something, again, I personally have neglected my own hands, and it's only now I've got to this certain age, at the wrong side of 50, I'm looking and thinking, oh, it's giving me away. But what we can see here are the different grades of the scale when patients come through your door. And again, you know, we can help with that. As you can see here, the young person without any issues, really, no fatty tissue loss. Then we have our slight visibility of veins in our grade 1. Our grade 2, again, still a bit of moderate loss of fatty tissue, but then it progresses right to the severe loss of fatty tissue, and you can actually see the veins through the hands. I think I'm at that now, so I think I need help from you, Andrew.
Done.
Next slide. And here we've got a fantastic 3D framework of the dorsal side of the hand. And you can see, although obviously there isn't much as with regards to width there's such a lot of things going on beneath the surface. So again, we have to be mindful of how we target the hands, the products that we can use. And, you know, within the FILLMED product range, we can target surface down to the depth that we need to. Now we do have another slide coming up, which yeah, it's not this one, it's the next one, but it's just to make you aware there is a live slide of a cadaver. So again, it may be a bit, it might be a bit unnerving for some people, but before we go on to that, we can see here the targeting that we can use. We can use fine lines if you're a registered clinician, but if you're not, you can carry on using the NCTF, and then we can introduce the skin booster beneath the surface, which again will give you a great result for hand rejuvenation. But this just gives you an indication of where we would place that product. So even if you're not a registered clinician where you can use these injectables, the dermal fillers, you can still achieve fabulous results for your patients with our NCTF and our MHA 10 protocols. Next slide, please. So this is what I'm talking about. So this is without massaging it, and it's going in blind with a needle. Personally, I treat the hands with a cannula. However, you can see how it will integrate within the different fascias of the hand. And again, if you come on to training to do our hand rejuvenation using cannulas and fillers, then obviously we will cover all that. That's just to give you an idea to see where the placement of the filler will be. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, there we go. So there you have a great demo of how we can use those MHA 10 and MHA and NCTF. So again, here's with the hand rejuvenation with FILLMED, again, similar to the neck protocol. And again, these are all available for you, and we can send them all on the website. And obviously, if you want to come on training with us, then we'll cover this in more detail, and you'll all get a chance to have a go as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so we've talked about the rejuvenation of the hands, combining it with MHA 18 and NCTF. And as you can see here, we did use 10 patients and it was 3 sessions over the month. So at the injection, the MHA 18 and the NCTF on the back of the hand, you can see there how much improvement you can see with regards to hydration, the elasticity, homogeneity, and the wrinkle aspect of it. So again, it's all about potentially layering, and we'll talk a lot about layering with a few of our treatment protocols, because again, we can't just treat something in isolation. We've got to think about what's going on beneath the surface as well. So this just gives you an indication of the hydration that's been achieved following the 3 sessions, and you can see the gradual increase. And again, once we've managed to achieve that, it's a matter of the maintenance at home, and then our patients, mine generally come back every 12 to 16 weeks. Some may need more intervention, some may need a one-off treatment, but generally you've got to consider it patient by patient and during your consultation process. Okay. Next slide. So this is our BioNutra Hydra. And again, this is, I know there have been some questions with regards to Profilo treatment. Now, again, I have done Profilo training and I am aware of the back points, and I can certainly say I have treated patients who have previously had Profilo and the effects may still be there. However, what we're doing here with our MH18, again, there's no downtime. It's immediate and long-lasting results with minimum quantity. It's cost effective, and again, it's less invasive, it's less painful, I would say. I generally use a cannula to do this. However, you know, if you consider what the MHA 18 can do, then you know, it's along the same lines as the Profilo. However, more cost effectiveness wise, and I think it's more patient friendly. I generally use this when they don't want a fill-in effect, but they want the hydration. So I've used this in tear trough. Tear trough is my nemesis. I hate doing them. And I generally find that out of 4, I'm struggling to get more than a decent one. So I generally don't do tear trough anymore. For the tear trough injections, I use the MHA 18, and then I will layer it with the NCTF around the area. And I've had great results from that. And the longevity up to now has been good. So me personally, I use this treatment, I couple it with a peel, and I couple it with the home care regime, and I get a fantastic result. So there's no problem with you transferring your patients who have previously been Profilo lovers, getting them over to this. Again, it's a lot more cost effective, and I'm not sure, dependent on your area, a lot of my patients struggle to be able to finance the Profilo treatment. Do you want to add anything to that, Andrew?
No, not really. I absolutely agree with you completely. I mean, yeah, you're right. Profilo is kind of hit the social platforms. It's gone a bit crazy. There's nothing wrong with it, but as Deb's quite rightly said, it isn't very cost effective. Whereas this can be targeted everywhere, whereas Profilo has tended to be a little bit more focused.
Yeah, and it's on the back points, which, you know, it's where you get the diffusion. And the idea of using these particular back points is so over time, that diffusion will target the whole of the tissue. However, we can still achieve that using MHA 18 and using the NCTF and possibly the MHA 10 as well. So the versatility there, and the fact that they're all cohesive to work alongside with each other and CE mark for use together, you know, we've got no issues. We've got a really good dynamic treatment there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Deb just hit on a perfect one, because Profilo is, as we know, just hyaluronic acid, which is fine, not a problem at all. Mm-hmm. But I think that everyone has so many more concerns than just hydration, elasticity. There's an awful lot more. So being able to combine the MHA 18 that's going to give them that hydration and the elasticity that they're looking for, but also using NCTF at the same time to then start dealing with other signs of aging, and skin structure and the health of it. And of course, coupling that, as Deb's quite rightly said, with home care, you've got it. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then we have our hero. This is my all-time favorite, BioNeutral Lift. I never introduce any filler into the skin anymore without combining it with NCTF. This is just groundbreaking. So this is actually version no skin quality treatment at all. The idea of our BioNeutral Lift protocols can be used on every area of the face. Not only are we filling the area or you know, targeting signs of aging, whether it be volume loss or, you know, general elasticity of the skin, we can use this in the lip area, in the cheek area, in the lower face area. The downtime, one entry point with a cannula, it's long-lasting results. And again, from the initial treatment, you can see the improvement. So not only are we targeting slight volume loss, we're creating obviously a wound because we're subcising the skin. Not only that, we're introducing the NCTF, which is going to feed the skin, but we've also got that filling factor as well. So again, the 360 approach. And before any treatment I do, whether it be toxin, needling, mesotherapy, fillers, I will peel the skin. Because again, we're talking about the layering effect. We're targeting the whole 360 approach of the layering effect. Again, we have training for our BioNeutral Lift protocols, and I know quite a few on the webinar this morning have been doing it and getting brilliant results from it. Next slide, please. So here are techniques, and again, I'm just going to briefly go over this. So as we've talked about, we talk about the skin, we talk about the epidermis and obviously the dermis, and we can address the mid to the deep. The BioNeutral Lift technique, as you can see here, there's 3 ladies. These are all family. There's the daughter, the mother, and the grandmother, which indicates that this can be used across any age group. But all we would do was change and introduce different fillers or the different volumes of NCTF. But again, the idea is we don't want to treat things in isolation anymore. We want to try and change the mindset of clinicians out there. Let's treat everything. Let's treat the skin, because no matter how much filler you put in, no matter how much toxin you put in, if you don't address the skin, you are not going to get that ultimate optimum result. So again, and here we've got a fabulous example. It enhances the quality of the skin by the BioNeutral Lift itself. Again, if you look at the tear trough area, we've shortened that divide between the mid-face. You've got a little bit of projection to the cheek area, and by lifting the upper face, we've also addressed the lower face problems. So again, this is something that we offer the BioNeutral Lift training anyway, again, as one of our other protocols. Now this one, our BioNeutral Lift, and we've versed the Skin Boosters. Now with Restylane Skin Boosters, this was my go-to product before I discovered FILLMED. I used this in the bucket load because it was a great product. It is a great product, it still is. However, by moving across to the FILLMED, I've now been able to not just boost the skin with hydration, I am feeding the skin as well. So it's a win-win for me. Again, the BioNeutral Lift is there, the training's there, you can book it on the website. But if you need more information with regards to that, you can contact anyone on the team. Next slide, please. And here again is the perfect example. We've got fibroblast stimulation versus the skin booster. And with all the treatments and that FILLMED advocate, their research and development budget is phenomenal. And this is the type of information that we're provided with in order to support what we say. And again, that's so valuable because they've done the due diligence for us to be able to achieve the results that we've got. Next slide. And again, here's the winning combo for the eye circles and the neck. And quite a few of you have already done the BioNutrify and the BioNutrineck training. But this is 1 month after one session of the NCTF using the NanoSoft. In addition, they are using skin perfusion as well. Again, everything that we display here, it also includes home care. So it's not just a standalone. We're not saying that. What we're saying is that the patients or the clients have still got to invest and take ownership of their home care as well. Do you want to add anything to that, Andrew?
No, that's amazing. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Home care, especially around the eyes.
Yeah, definitely. And again, here's just an example of where we see an increase in the epidermis density and the dermis density. And this is using MH18 and the NCTF. Okay. Okay, Andrew.
Oh, it disappeared. Okay, so this is the Skin Perfusion portfolio. We all love it because it's small. You don't need 800 moisturizers because skin's skin. We're targeting what's going on inside, which is what we've talked about all the time. So it has very minimal when it comes to that. So hopefully a lot of you have done that training already, so you understand it. But what we like to do in the protocols that we'll be talking about today is use the 2 HA related products in the range. And the first one is the serum. So this one has provitamin B5. It has hyaluronic acid in both low and high. And it has a product called tamarin, which is like a hyaluronic acid-like substance. So it gives even more hydration. It also has erythritol and humarine, which improves the capture of the water. So you've got natural as opposed to the HA as well at the same time. So this is your daily. You can use all the time. And then we have the booster. This is what was shown on that lovely lady in the slide, a few slides before, using in combination with NCTF. So this is a 2.5% hyaluronic acid, 2% of which is high molecular weight, and 0.5%, which is a very low molecular weight, which means we're targeting all areas. Now you can use this day or night if you want to, but this is your prescription. This is what we love to give them for like their 1 month prescription. Those of you probably are aware it comes in 3 10 ml vials, which is to be used every 10 days until completion. Then you can go on to the booster serum as your maintenance. But in some situations, you may have helped with that moisture and wouldn't necessarily need it. You can go on to something else. But these are the boosters that relate to purely hydration. And if you look at that, sorry, I'm rambling. If you look at the little chart on the right-hand side, you've actually got the study with it, and this comes with every single one of the products. You've got 100%, which is quite amazing, deeply hydrated skin cessation. You've got 93% plump looking, 93% long lasting, which is important, and 93% younger looking. And post-treatment, of course, we have the 3 heroes really. The first one is a hyaluronic youth mask, which is amazing. So that's got pure HA, it's got collagen, and it's got aloe vera. So that was used initially for post-op. So if you've done any kind of traumatic related treatment, it's amazing for that. But it's also a take home because clients can buy this to use at home. And it's just incredible for a hydration relationship. We have the new or relatively new recovery mask for the eye. That's quite beautiful as well, which has peptides in it, which is going to help with pigment relationships and obviously fine lines and wrinkles, and provitamin B5. The B3 recovery, which is what Deb has already mentioned, this is your go-to after every single treatment. It's actually my go-to moisturizer in actual fact. I like it a lot, but it's also very good for people with sensitized skin. But really its job is for post-op repair. Then of course the E-Youth Sun Cream. This is quite incredible because it doesn't just have the UV and UVA protections. It also has rejuvenatory protocols within it as well, and it also helps to stop any teresinase inhibitor to stop any or help to stop any pigmentation. So it's actually a treatment while you're wearing it.
Sorry, guys, you missed all that beautiful music that I got to experience then because I had you on mute, so I do apologise. This is, thank you both Debbie and Andrew for that amazing presentation. Please guys, go ahead and ask any questions you want to in the chat. We've been trying to answer as many as we can throughout the session, but if there's anything else you want to ask, pop it in there now while I just explain to you about the My NCTF campaign, which was actually launched. It's an initiative by France, by our creators, and it's an initiative to become the casting director of your clinics effectively. We're looking for the new face of FILLMED, and that person is going to be one of your patients. So we've got a new casting area, which is www.casting.fillmed, and you can actually put forward your clients to be the new face of FILLMED. So we're looking for somebody that's obviously, you know, potentially been taken on a skin journey with you and has achieved results from having treatments, specifically, ideally, NCTF, as it is the NCTF campaign. So the platform is open now. Where it'll be running until I think actually, when is it? I think we're closing it in January 15th, and our winner is going to be announced in March. So we've got quite a good amount of time, but let's face it, how fast has this year gone? So get your brains thinking about who out of your patient list, or you know, who you would like to start putting forward or talking to about this competition. It's rather exciting. So please do discover the new FILLMED campaign at the casting.fillmed.com, My NCTF campaign.